Welcome back, or welcome if you're just joining us. This is The World This Week, and with us in the studio is Craig Kapitas of Quartz in the Atlantic. Also with us, Christopher Dickey of Newsweek and The Daily Beast. Hamdan Mostafavi of Courrier International. Hamdan now runs the website, which is courrierinternational.com.
Yes.
The best of the world's press in French. And also with us, Régis Le Sommier of French news weekly magazine Paris Match. Talk about a hero's welcome. The Emir of Qatar becoming the first foreign head of state this week to visit Gaza since the hardline Hamas took over 5 years ago there. A visit naturally hailed by his hosts, bemoaned by the rival Fatah over in the West Bank as internal meddling. The Emir insists he is not the one who's part of the problem.
The internal division among Palestinians first and Arabs second is more damage to the Palestinian cause than the repeated Israeli aggression. Today there is no peace negotiations, nor a clear strategy of resistance and liberation.
Hamdan Mostafavi.
Well, that was a stunning visit. There's been lots of comments about this visit this week on every blog, every website in the Middle East. Really, it's really bringing division among the Palestinians because going to see the Hamas without going to see the Fatah. And,
So he was saying there that he's part of the solution, not part of the problem. You're saying it's the other way around.
Yeah, of course, and it's also bring division to the region because right now the Hamas is supported by Iran and it's close also to Syria. So it kind of says, okay, now we are dealing with Qatar, so we are changing allies, and it's quite huge to do that, and we don't know where it's leading. It can be more than dangerous, but it also shows that the Hamas leader has been uncomfortable with all that is happening in Syria. So he's been trying to shift away from Iran and Syria, and that's also very important. But right now, I know the Emir is saying he's trying to help in the peace process, but that's not going to help between the Palestinians.
Not going to help. However, there's a detail here, which I think may matter. He didn't come in by road. He came in by helicopter. We can take a look at a map of Gaza and just ask a simple question, Christopher Dickey. Who controls Gaza's airspace?
Israelis control the Gaza airspace.
Could the Emir of Qatar have gone in without the consent?
No. The Israelis had to sign off on this. Even though he came in from the Egyptian side, the Israelis basically had to sign off on it. And I think that's interesting because Qatar, in fact, plays all these very complicated games in the Middle East, and it has been one of the countries that doesn't have a peace treaty with Israel, that doesn't have formal recognition, but that has actually cultivated fairly friendly relations with Israel over time. Mm-hmm. So it's cultivating friendly relationships with Israel, with Hamas. Obviously, there's a little bit of a problem now with Fatah,
but it's hard to be friends with everybody in this region. It's hard to be friends with everybody.
Well, it is, but if you've got enough money and everybody wants it badly enough, you probably can make it work out.
I think you have to be very positive about this. I see this as a really good sign. If you strip away, all these decades of political hatred and war, and you just take a look at Israel, the country, that was a wasteland. And the Israelis came in there and they turned it into a paradise.
Palestine was not a wasteland.
No. It was a bunch of shepherds. There was no industry.
Really?
Well, yeah. If you go back and at what cost? I don't want to get into the politics of this, but what the Palestinians have not had has been the cash flow to turn their nation into a vibrant economy. And here you have one of the richest fellows in the world with the deepest pocketbooks around. And if he comes in and empowers and applies, turn Gaza into an economic powerhouse, turn Gaza into farmlands, into industries, and then maybe do the same thing on the other side. I think that's a very, very positive move. I think that's positive.
Régis Le Sommier, there was an endorsement of this trip in an editorial in Thursday's Financial Times.
That's right. I think it's also a good sign. I would agree with Craig, but a little with some differences. I would say that the Israeli-Palestinian conflict has been put under the rug for a long time. We've focused on Syria. We've focused on the Arab Spring. And this thing is there, and we're trying not to look at it. The Americans are trying not to look at it. 2 years into the election, it's over. I mean, before an American election, Barack Obama said he would do something. He didn't do anything. The European Union has tried to do something, but they didn't do anything. This time, Qatar, who's gaining, some, notoriety around the world, and is you really now serving as a power broker in many fields, is stepping in and going there and attracting attention to this little and saying, hey, there, the Palestinian problem, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is not over, and it's still there, and we need to do something for these people.
But when you see, Regis, that on Thursday there was this, ahead of the general election in Israel, there was this formal deal between Avigdor Lieberman and Benjamin Netanyahu on the right in Israel, both hardliners. What chances are there, really?
I don't think there is, but I think what's good on the part of Qatar is, for once, it's an Arab country taking over and saying we're going to deal with that problem, or at least we're going to try to apply our solution. Turkey could have done it at one point. They planned a trip, but they canceled it at the last minute. And I think the Turks must be biting their nails right now, seeing Qatar expanding more and more.
Shortlist them for a peace prize.
Well, it's very interesting. You see the difference between the Occidental point of view and the point of view there, because really it has been felt there like only bringing division between the Palestinians. Because if you want to put money, you try to reconcile Fatah and Hamas. You don't go there without going to the other side. The
truth is that Qatar has been funding the Muslim Brotherhood to a huge amount, including in Egypt, including in Tunisia, all over the Arab world. It's been exploiting the situation of the Arab Spring to put its allies in the Muslim Brotherhood in power in these countries, and Hamas is a Muslim Brotherhood organization. So I don't think it's at all surprising that they support Morsi, they support Ennahda in Tunisia, and they support Hamas in Gaza.
What's interesting when you mention the money, Christopher, is that if you go to the source of it, the Emir of Qatar, friends with everyone, as you're all saying, trying to be, including Iran, and the two have joint natural gas ventures in the Strait of Hormuz. Hamdan Mostafavi, how do the Iranians feel about the Qataris first supporting the Syrian rebels, second swooping into Gaza laden with gifts?
Well, Iranian right now, they need friends, so they're not really loud about this, but they don't appreciate the fact that he went there.
Could you see their joint gas venture being in trouble?
No, I don't think so, because really right now they need all the allies economically more than everything.
The Americans have a significant military presence in Qatar too. So Qatar plays really every angle. It's really a marvelous thing to watch.
And a nation of several 100,000. Do you ever get the sense that a few 100,000 citizens, I should say, do you ever get the sense that they're boxing above their weight category?
Well, I think that the Emir and his wife Sheikha Moza are very, very impressive people, and they've done really an incredible job of figuring out how to take advantage of their resources. But one of the things that's interesting as we look forward is that the United States is going to be exporting Qatar's main asset, which is natural gas. The Qatar's wealth was built on the idea that it would have almost a monopoly on natural gas with Iran, that there would be this little group of countries that had it. Now we're discovering over the last 5 years that lots of countries have lots of natural gas. So I think we'll actually see Qatar's influence and its money decline in the medium term.
There was a saying popular in the Senate of ancient Rome: there is no fortress so strong that cannot be conquered by money. And that's the dynamic I think you're seeing at work here. If the Emir
was that when you were covering the
Yes, that's right. But you were in Carthage at the time. I know we missed that. Ding. But I think that's what you're seeing here, and I think that if they empower locally there, to create jobs, to create industries, to create farms. It's just a win-win, a win-win for everyone.
All right,
and I hope he can accomplish
We'll see
it.
if money solves all problems. Let's go to Europe now, and a verdict that stunned the world. No, we're not talking about the French rogue trader at Société Générale, told to pay, 4.9 billion euros in fines on this week. No, instead, the 6-year prison sentence for 7 members of Italy's so-called Great Risks Commission for failing to predict the 2009 earthquake that flattened parts of L'Aquila. This following weeks of small tremors. Scientists have resigned in disgust. One prominent geologist says the fault lies squarely instead with shoddy workmen and building inspectors.
In a modern country where houses are built properly, if you tell someone to stay home with a 6.3 magnitude earthquake, you will save lives, because not even a cornice should fall. Here in Italy, the problem is different.
Régis Le Sommier, does he have a point?
That everything that here in Italy, everything is different. Yeah, yes. It's. I mean, this verdict has been, has surprised a number of us, and the way things are ruled in Italy are slightly different than anywhere else, I think.
Do you think the things are ruled in Italy? It seems
Yeah,
they are not very ruled anymore. I mean, Iran has a lot of earthquakes, but we've never seen anything so crazy like people accusing the scientists of not telling the truth. I think why they don't talk to each other, the politics, the scientists, the guy who built the buildings.
It's because the scientists, in fact, have no political power.
Yeah, of course.
And because they don't have any political power, the people who actually were responsible, who do have political power, blamed them. It's as simple as that. I mean, Berlusconi could have done things long before that would have improved the building codes, and more to the point, in L'Aquila, after the earthquake, he had a G20 meeting there, G8 meeting, right away. We're going to rebuild it. This is a great gesture, as they say in Italy. Nothing happened.
No, it's been
So
giving
let's
the
blame the
contracts to his
scientists.
friends, and nothing happened for the people there.
I hope someone down there uses this as a legal precedent to sue the Vatican for prayers not coming true.
All right, well, on that point, on Twitter, Janneke Krantz sides with the geologists. He says earthquakes are acts of God, so if anyone should have been tried and sentenced, shouldn't it have been the Pope? But the Boston Globe columnist Juliette Kayyem, in a piece published Friday in the International Herald Tribune, says science was not on trial, scientists were. Earthquake predictions may not be exact, but it isn't witchcraft either. The defendants were sentenced because the public places a value on scientific assurances, much more so than it does than on their politicians.
That was published in the Washington Post?
It was the Boston Globe.
My goodness,
God.
are they endorsing Romney and the senator from Missouri?
I think, probably that's Aiken and Murdoch probably are getting the endorsement.
This is right up there. We'll, outlaw in vitro fertilization, but we're going to make it legal that if you're raped, a woman's raped, she has to have the baby. Boy, there's a lot of silliness going on in the world right now.
Much more silliness to come. And by the way, if it's Friday, then Silvio Berlusconi's in court for tax fraud. Italy's former premier convicted to 4 years behind bars, but he's appealing. Earlier in the week, it was testimony that he was in an underage prostitution case that was heard. Now, I said 4 years, but it's already been reduced in the past hours to 1. Berlusconi benefiting from a 2006 amnesty law to reduce prison overcrowding, a bill passed when he was in the opposition. We have a reaction from the man himself saying it's intolerable judicial harassment. 4-year sentence reduced to 1. Hamdan Mustafavi, do you think we'll see Silvio Berlusconi behind bars one day?
No, I don't think so. He's 76. He'll find some way to get out of it. And anyway, as we have said before, there's not like some fair justice in Italy or things like that, I think. But it's crazy to see that's in the middle of Europe. I mean, if we saw that in some third world country, Europe, with its Nobel Prize, would be judging everywhere. But now I don't know what is France, Spain saying about all that. Come on, do something. It's just your neighbor.
It really does, though, look like the end politically for Berlusconi. As you were mentioning, he's 76. He put out a statement earlier this week saying, I won't run for premier, but I will remain next to younger players who need to play and score goals. I guess, Régis, this is a reminder that he's still the president of AC Milan Football Club.
That's right, and still a very popular figure in Italy. I mean, we've seen all that, and the prostitution scandals and everything that Berlusconi has been involved in the past year or two. Still, he has some popularity. Still,
look at it through his eyes. What would you rather beat? A rap that you're going out, criminal rap that you're going out with young girls, or would you rather beat the tax rap? I think he would have, which makes him look better. He likes the idea that he's this young and flush guy. I just think he's really upset that he got nailed on the tax charges and not the other ones.
Yeah.
I don't even think he's upset about that. I mean, look, he's got a huge amount of money. He made that money in very, very corrupt circumstances, but with a lot of favorable deals from the now discredited Socialist Party there. And, he's built on it over the years. So he's hugely, hugely rich. They can, as long as they don't actually physically put him in jail.
You think they will?
No, I don't think they will. But I think that it's just water off his back. It's like his scalp. It all beads on top.
That said, there is a political vacuum right now inside of Italy, Christopher Dickey. Some were even hinting that maybe Mario Monti might have a future. He says he doesn't want to run for the Prime Minister's office, but that he would stay on as a caretaker if he's asked. Do you see Mario Monti staying on for a while?
No, I think Mario Monti is smart enough to understand that people hate him in Italy, because he represents all the things they don't want to do. He represents all that fiscal discipline that people don't want. He represents taxes, tax collection, which people just don't like. I mean, who can blame them? But that's what he represents, and I think he knows that nobody's going to thank him for that, even if he saves the country with those policies.
Yeah, but there's a political vacuum, because now what can you defend when you are a politician in Italy, in Greece, or in Spain? I mean, with the Euro crisis, or you come and you have to apply the EU policy. So what dream can you sell? I mean,
and who are the new politicians? I mean, who are the
Barack
Barack Obamas, for lack of a better term?
Well, the ones who look like potential successors 2-3 years ago are basically not in the picture anymore.
Right.
And, it's a sad situation politically.
And it's a story that we'll be continuing to follow in the days and months to come. I want to thank you, Christopher Dickey, Régis Le Sommier, Craig Capidis, Hamdan Mostafavi. Thank you for joining us here in The World This Week.